next topic we'll go into are enemy types. Now, as you can see, the enemies come onto screen from the right hand side with murderous intent. They will use either melee, ranged or magic damage, just like our heroes. We'll go more into that later. They come in many different types. According to the Idle Champions wiki on fandom, there's 56 currently, however that could change in the future. You'll be most interested in the ones that your heroes can allocate as favoured enemies. Only certain heroes can do that, and we'll explain more on that once we get into the heroes area. Patron challenges can have objectives that are dependent on killing a metric squillion of a certain type of enemy, so knowing where they spawn in large quantities can definitely help. Bosses can also be categorised, or are also categorised, however they're much tougher and love nothing more than executing a team wipe on your assembled heroes. They power up the longer they're alive and can tear your heroes apart like a warm chicken. They also drop loot bags, which have gems and sometimes silver and gold chests. I'm sure there's a pattern to when these chests drop, I've just never bothered to look into it. The gems are important because we use them to unlock familiars. Okay, so I'll just push ahead to a boss fight to try and show you the boss powering up. I've had a look around online and I can't really find exactly what that does to the boss, but let's be honest, it can't be good. There you go, so you can see the boss powering up to level 2. It takes a period of time as he fills this ominous looking bar, and once it hits that, he's now double powered up. You'll continue to do so for as long as your heroes can survive, and as indicated before, he's probably going to wipe out my whole team. Okay, moving on to your heroes that you'll be assembling together in formations to slap down some monsters in favoring. As you can see, they will be positioned within the formation on the screen, and you have a character sheet for each one. In the top corner you have an animated profile picture, a little skin toggle if you have any skins for them. You can swap them if you have more than one in that seat, and you also have their health and shield bar. Across this side you have general information about them, including their name, age, species and a number of other elements about them, which can be important because other heroes' formational abilities can be dictated or applied based on some of these attributes. Next, you have their equipment slots with their currently equipped items and a quick synopsis of what they do for them. Most of these are predicated on increasing all champion damage, increasing a specific ability of theirs, or sometimes increasing health and ultimate attack cooldown. You can cursor over these and get a nice little collectible card icon. Good times. From there, they have their base attack and their ultimate attack if it's unlocked, and you can see a breakdown of what they are, as well as this little icon which denotes the type of damage that they do. Bruno being a melee damage user. Down this side you have their attributes and a total, which can be important because some formational abilities actually apply to characters with total ability scores under a certain figure. If you're not quite sure what the 3-letter acronyms mean, you can cursor over these and get a tooltip. Beyond that, over this side you have a bio tab, which you can have a read of if you're that way inclined. You have their current upgrades unlocked, as well as you can toggle on showing upcoming upgrades or not, and you can also click this to combine upgrades. That's because as they progress, some upgrades will be of the same type. We'll go through upgrading in a minute, but as you can see there are different types of upgrades. This sword generally denotes increasing damage to the character. This one denotes increasing an effect, and this one denotes their ultimate ability. You can also get this one, which unlocks a specialization or impacts a specialization, and this one that increases all damage for all champions. From there, the formation buffs, you can see, categorised as outgoing and incoming. In this case, it's only Bruno, so it's only his outgoing as rally, which does affect him, so it's incoming as well. As you level, you'll unlock feats for your characters, which can then be selected. Active feats are ones you've currently assigned. Unlocked feats are obviously ones you have access to assign, and locked feats can be assigned once you unlock them, and there's a general description of how to unlock them down this side. From there, you can cycle through each of your characters in each seat from the top if you want. Next thing from there is you can see the upcoming upgrade. As you can see there, that one's going to affect Bruno's rally ability. This one will upgrade Celeste's damage. This one will upgrade Niall's health. And this one here will unlock Jalaxel's specialisation. We can pick between the two, and as I indicated earlier, some characters like Jalaxel can impact your overall gold find. From there, as we talked about with enemies, heroes like Minsk here can actually pick favoured enemies, which will debuff enemies and allowing the whole party to do further damage to those enemies. And as you can see with Makos here, some of them can be set up to allow formation of abilities to impact other characters. If we select his Dark Blessing here, then he will provide a buff to anyone who is not adjacent to him. Beyond that, there's not much more to say. However, we'll quickly look at formation placements. You can see I added Celeste and the DPS went upwards, indicating that a positive impact DPS had occurred. If I were to move her to here, you can see that again it's gone up in overall damage. However, Bruno's damage has not changed at all. If I move her back behind him, you can see that his damage has changed, and indicating that he's... Now we've discussed heroes, let's take a quick look at formation structures. If I take Niall here and I move her onto the team, you can see the DPS went green as an increase of overall team DPS occurred. If I remove her, it goes red. This can be deceiving though, because sometimes if you're targeting a specific character for increase of DPS, you might think, oh, it's gone green, that's awesome. However, your primary DPS dealer may not have been impacted by the formation abilities of the character you've added. So you do need to generally use the DPS breakdown and keep an eye on your current lead DPS and things that have a positive impact on them. It is generally recommended to focus all of your efforts on a single DPS rather than trying to spread your DPS across your whole formation. From there, I've found the best way is to review their upgrades or their formation buffs and get a handle on how they interact with others, and then try to position them with a specific DPS character in mind. Now, unlike a lot of games that generally refer to a meta setup, this game doesn't really have a meta per se. I'm sure there probably is an ultimate setup and formation structure given certain circumstances and giving certain types of equipment, but because there are so many variables and the heroes that you unlock versus who else has unlocked, it is very difficult to pinpoint a specific meta formation. My recommendation is find heroes that you like and that interact with each other well, and try to focus on them at least in the early game until you can start targeting more specifically higher tiered heroes. As I mentioned in the previous videos, The intent originally was to be one video, however, nobody's interested in listening to me bang on for 40 plus minutes straight. So, to take us out, feast your eyes upon the attention here sword.